Ted Lasso Season 4 opener is a cack-handed mess, but all is not lost. 3 years after the beloved Apple TV series Ted Lasso came to a conclusive end, it returned for a fourth season. But try to resist from getting your hopes too high. It's a cack-handed, cringy mess which manages to say nothing of value in 40 minutes. The show once had the nation in a chokehold, warming the hearts of even the toughest critics with its unabashed wholesome patter and original quick-witted comedy. However, by the time that 2023 rolled around, the show felt overly lengthened from something that first began as a skit, and it seemed high time that the characters fulfilled their arcs. So the show concluded with AFC Richmond thriving, Ted Lasso, Jason Sudeikis, heading back home to his family, Rebecca Welton, Hannah Waddingham, with her heart seemingly repaired by new love, and her ex-husband Anthony Head, ousted from football.
Looking for a premium phone without the premium price? This renewed, unlocked iPhone 14 offers 128 gigabytes of storage, a sharp 6.1-inch display, and 5G capability for around $299. Want to get the best verified deal and see full details? Visit grabdeal.us/6 right now.
Roy Kent, Brett Goldstein, and Jamie Tart, Phil Dunster, were finally friends, with Keely Jones, Juno Temple, choosing herself over a romance with either one of them, and all was right in the world. Every loose end was neatly tied up in the Season 3 finale, which is why Season 4 perhaps feels like a weird reboot that nobody really needed. Unfortunately, the first episode of Season 4 kicks off not with a bang but with a whimper, with the audience introduced to themes and plots with clumsy, blundering devices. The show beings with Ted in his new life in the U.S., working as a cashier at a supermarket. The show has never shied away from its comfortable position on the moral high ground, and immediately we are shown a nonsensical scene to remind viewers that Ted is still the same good man we all knew and loved, no matter his environment. Ted manages to stop a colleague shoplifting by pretending to shoplift himself, and wouldn't you know it, his boss doesn't even care. In fact, he gives him the rest of the afternoon off. And so we are launched into this new stateside version of Ted Lasso. Later, the episode also fired out an uncomfortable joke about masturbation, and then shoehorned in a TikTok algorithm jokes that felt like a very awkward attempt to try and stay on trend, rather than the more natural and clever joke writing that the show had become known for. The rest of the episode also shoved in some of its stalwart themes in without much success, jamming in Keely and Rebecca's girl power trip in as filler without managing to add anything of substance to the episode, apart from a faint reminder that the show used to write female characters and friendship between women very well. Similarly, a trip to a museum celebrating Black baseball players failed to add any meat to the bones of this hollow episode, apart from a cheap comparison to the way Black people were treated in baseball in the US, and how women were treated by the Football League in the UK. Yikes. The episode is full of forgettable moments and felt like a necessary chore to get through in order to get back to London. And yet, the last few minutes of the show felt to me like there could be a little light at the end of the tunnel. Episode 1 ends with Ted deciding to return to the UK to coach the women's team, but this time with his family in tow. This leaves the second episode full of possibility, with completely new family dynamics in play, new characters set to be introduced from Richmond women's team and staff, and romantic tension between Ted and his ex-wife to be explored. Maybe the jokes and plots from the first episode felt more obvious, because for some audiences, this will be their introduction to the series, and taking a broad brushstroke to humor is an easier way to introduce personalities and character dynamics, even though it likely left long-term fans on the back foot. However, goodwill from viewers who have loved the first 3 seasons will mean that audiences will certainly continue to watch Season 4. Hopefully, the season finds its footing when it's back in Richmond. Ted Lasso Season 4 is available to view on Apple TV now.